All right, hey, this is Michael Imhotep, founder of the African History Network, host of the African History Network show. I'm a talk show host, researcher, lecturer, and writer. So today is Tuesday, May 29th, 2018. Tuesday, May 29th, 2018. And I was trying to broadcast on Facebook Live, trying to broadcast on YouTube. I tried broadcasting from Facebook on my phone, from my computer, YouTube from my computer, and the audio was choppy. So we're doing it this way here, straight from the camera, not using internet. Hopefully this comes out, okay? So I want to talk about this story dealing with Roseanne Barr. And Roseanne, a tweet that she did on on Monday, May 28th, attacking Valerie Jarrett, and her trying to tweet on Tuesday, trying to undo the damage that was done on Monday, okay? And then subsequently, ABC canceled her show, right? Now, for those that don't remember Valerie Jarrett is an African-American woman who was a senior advisor to President Barack Obama. She was a senior advisor to President Barack Obama. Very intelligent, articulate, educated African-American woman, more educated than Roseanne Barr will ever be, okay? And Roseanne Barr tweeted on Monday, Memorial Day, about Valerie Jarrett. And what she said was that, if you look at the article from Washington Post, Muslim Brotherhood and Planet of the Apes had a baby. Muslim Brotherhood and Planet of the Apes had a baby equals Valerie Jarrett, VJ, okay? Valerie Jarrett. So she's saying if the Muslim Brotherhood and the Planet of the Apes had a baby, it would look like Valerie Jarrett, all right? Now, Valerie Jarrett is a very intelligent African-American woman. We know there's a history of white people, not all white people, but some white people, likening African Americans to apes and monkeys, things like this. Is very bigoted, comes out of white supremacy and racism, all right? And we know that there were these attacks on First Lady Michelle Obama, referring to her as an ape and all different types of things like this, right? Now, all this is taking place in the era of Donald Trump. All this is taking place in the era of Donald Trump, who has normalized white supremacy, who has made people feel comfortable in their bigotry and their white supremacy, who has attacked political correctness, okay, who has not openly denounced white supremacists, okay? He'll refer to MS-13 as being animals, okay? This is a gang that originated here in the U.S., a Hispanic gang. And he tries to make MS-13 the face of undocumented immigrants, but he doesn't call Stephen Paddock, who shot and killed 48 people in Las Vegas, then killed himself. He doesn't call Stephen Paddock an animal. He doesn't call Ryking, who shot and killed 4 people at a Waffle House and then was disarmed by James Shaw Jr., African-American man. He doesn't call him a white supremacist. He doesn't call him an animal. Other white supremacists who commit attacks, he doesn't call them animals, okay? So we see this bigotry coming out of the White House from Donald Trump. This is the same president who referred to African nations, Haiti and El Salvador, as S-hole countries, okay? This is the same person, the same mentality, all right? Now, we know that Roseanne Barr in real life is a big Donald Trump supporter, okay? And on her TV show, the reboot of her TV show, she's a big Donald Trump supporter as well, all right? So the show was popular back in the 1990s. It focused on a lower middle class white family. And then we have the reboot of the show that just started in the last couple of months in the era of Donald Trump. And on the TV show, Roseanne O'Connor is a big Donald Trump supporter as well. Okay. So if we look at this article from the Washington Post, and this was last updated at 3:27 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's been updated about 4 or 5 times. Name of this article, ABC cancels Roseanne after its star Roseanne Barr went on a vitriolic and racist Twitter rant, okay, written by Emily Hall. And it says ABC announced Tuesday that it canceled Roseanne after the show's star Roseanne Barr went on a vitriolic and racist Twitter rant. Roseanne Barr appeared to take aim late Monday Memorial Day, May 28th, at Valerie Jarrett, who's a former advisor to President Barack Obama, in a tweet that identified the administration official by her initials, VJ. And in the tweet that she has taken down, Roseanne Barr took the tweet down as if we won't know that the tweet was up, because the journalist used what's called the Wayback Machine, and they can go back and retrieve deleted tweets and deleted social media posts. Quote, Muslim Brotherhood and Planet of the Apes had a baby equals VJ. All right. Now, though she later claimed it was a joke, it was a joke. I know you're a comedian, but that wasn't funny, Roseanne. You think that was a joke? She issued a fuller apology. She issued a fuller apology on Tuesday after more intense criticism was directed toward her and ABC. Now, what type of friends is Roseanne hanging around that she thinks something like that would be a joke? And I first heard about this when I got into the car today. So I was doing a presentation at the Charles H. Wright Museum of African American History for some school children, like 5th grade through 12th grade today. And my presentation was dealing with the film Black Panther, okay? And dealing with different African cultural influences, African history, things like this. Dealing with the film Black Panther, Marcus Garvey. And it was a program today, and Amadeus Christ, who's the director of the film Out of Darkness, the documentary Out of Darkness. He was there. He showed a portion of Out of Darkness dealing with ancient Egypt, Nile Valley civilization. And it was organized by Amadeus and brother Toby Tinsel, right? So I get into the car and I hear about Wanda Sykes. I hear about a tweet from Roseanne Barr and all this stuff. I'm like, what's going on? Okay. So all hell broke loose. And then ABC canceled Roseanne's show today. All right. And rightfully so. Okay, so if we look at this, we continue. So Tuesday, May 29th, after more intense criticism was directed toward Roseanne Barr and ABC, Roseanne Barr tweeted an apology on Twitter, okay? 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, it appears. I apologize to Valerie Jarrett and to all Americans. She wrote, I am truly sorry for making a bad joke about her politics and her looks. I should have known better. Forgive me. My joke was in bad taste. So if you make, here's what I don't understand. What type of moral epiphany did you come to realize the next day that that tweet was in bad taste when you thought it was funny just the day before? Now, Channing Dungey, who's the president of ABC Entertainment, did not consider the tweet a joking matter. And Channing Dungey tweeted today, Tuesday, May 29th, quote, Roseanne's Twitter statement is abhorrent, repugnant, and inconsistent. Now, I don't know if Roseanne Barr knows what abhorrent and repugnant means, but it's not good with our values. Roseanne's Twitter statement is abhorrent, repugnant, and inconsistent with our values, and we have decided to cancel her show. Channing Dungey, president of ABC Entertainment, said in a statement released just hours after the comedian's offensive social media rant. Now, Roseanne Barr also was dropped by her talent agency today, Tuesday, May 29th, ICM Partners, who announced in a statement that her, quote, disgraceful and unacceptable tweet, quote, was antithetical to our core values, both as individuals and as an agency. Consequently, we have notified her that we will not represent her. She lost 2 jobs in one day. Imagine that. The news capped a day of online furor over a tweet storm that also included false conspiracy theories, as well as attacks on former first daughter Chelsea Clinton. Now, what's interesting to note about Channing Dungey, who is the president of ABC Entertainment, is that Channing Dungey is an African-American woman. Uh-oh. I wonder if Roseanne Barr knew this when she did that little tweet. So let's get this straight. Roseanne Barr got fired by an African-American woman for attacking an African-American woman. That's what I call black girl magic. She got fired by an African-American woman for attacking an African-American woman. Check out this article from thegrio.com. Thegrio.com. 5 things to know about Black ABC President Channing Dungey, who canceled Roseanne after her racist rant. Tuesday, May 29th, 2018. Oh my God. TheGrio.com, GRIO. Last February, Channing Dungey was announced as the new president of the ABC Entertainment Group. Dungey's promotion made her the first African-American person to be president of a major broadcast network. And she's wasted no time putting her stamp on the venerable TV network and stepping into the line of fire. She made headlines a few months ago when outlets reported that ABC permanently shelved an already shot episode of Blackish called Please Baby Please, in which the Johnson family addresses the controversy with Colin Kaepernick, the NFL, and the national anthem. The show's creator, Kenya Barris, and he and his wife just donated $1 million to Clark Atlanta HBCU. The show's creator, Kenya Barris, released a statement saying that they both opted not to air the show, but rumors swirled that the network had its foot on Kenya Barris' neck regarding the episode's controversial topic. During a call with reporters 2 weeks ago to discuss ABC's new season, Channing Dungey addressed the topic head on. She said, "As you know, we've long been supportive of Kenya and his team tackling challenging and controversial issues in the show. And we've always traditionally been able to come to a place creatively where we felt good about the story that he was telling, even if it felt like it was pushing some hot buttons. And he felt that he was getting to share the story in the way it should be shared," she said. Channing Dungey went on to say, with this particular episode, there was a number of different elements to the episode that we had a hard time coming to terms on. Much has been made about the kneeling part of it, which was not even really the issue. But I don't want to get into that. At the end of the day, this was a mutual decision between Kenya and the network to not put the episode out, end quote. But it was her defense of the controversial reboot of Roseanne that had many wondering what direction the network would take. So Channing Dungey also said she was a quote, a little bit surprised, end quote, when people were offended by the Roseanne show discussing two shows with minority-centered comedies, Blackish and Fresh Off the Boat. Okay, so she's saying, well, look, we have Blackish, we have Fresh Off the Boat, which is an Asian comedy, Blackish African-American comedy. So we have this comedy here about Roseanne, who's a Donald Trump supporter, right? So I don't understand what the big idea is. Now, during the episode in question, Dan Connor, Roseanne Connor, not O'Connor, but Roseanne Connor, Dan Connor, okay, referenced fellow ABC sitcoms Blackish and Fresh Off the Boat and said, "We missed all the shows about Black and Asian families." Okay, Dan said. Roseanne responded dismissively, "They're just like us. Now you're all caught up." Okay. Now that wisecrack, many said, was making light of the multicultural shows and the issues that are unique to minorities or people of color. Roseanne's dig at the shows did not sit well with many, but Channing Dungey maintains that its intent was not to offend. Okay. Channing Dungey said, "We thought that the writers were simply tipping their hat to those shows." Dungey said to reporters, "That said, I do stand by the Roseanne writers in terms of the decision to include that line. They felt that they were expressing the point of view of the Connors and what they would actually have said." Okay, now when a reporter asked if she had any concerns about how Roseanne Barr's own personal politics color the way the comedy is perceived, she responded, quote, "I do think that there's a little bit of that, yes," end quote. Okay, but things took a messy turn this morning, Tuesday, May 29th. The Trump supporter and star of ABC's Roseanne fired off a racist tweet suggesting that former Barack Obama advisor Valerie Jarrett is an ape, reported by BuzzFeed. Okay, and Roseanne Barr attacked Jarrett, who's an African-American woman who was born in Iran in response to an article which unsubstantiated claims were made, claiming that former President Barack Obama spied on the president of France. Roseanne Barr's Muslim comment toward Valerie Jarrett follows the thought process of conservatives who tried to unsuccessfully assert that Valerie Jarrett was behind a secret push to make America a, quote, more Islamic country, end quote, according to the fact-checking website Snopes.com, and this claim is false, all right? And so it appears that, the tweet from Roseanne Barr, the initial tweet was made Tuesday, May 29th at 2:45 a.m. early in the morning. 2:45 a.m. early in the morning, okay? Check out this article from thegrio.com, 5 things to know about Black ABC President Channing Dungey, who canceled Roseanne after her racist rant, because there's a lot more. Just for the sake of time, I don't have time to go through all of it, all right? But yeah, check this out, GRIO, thegrio.com, okay? All right, so if we go back to the article from the Washington Post, okay, and this article, once again, is entitled ABC Cancels Roseanne After Its Star, Roseanne Barr, Went on a Vitriolic and Racist Twitter Rant. Now, what's interesting is that you have some conservatives trying to defend Roseanne Barr and say, well, hey, she was on her own Twitter account. Yeah, she shouldn't have said it, but she should not have her show canceled for this, right? Well, these are some of the same people who say that Colin Kaepernick should be fired for taking the knee during the national anthem. That's not even during the game. That's at the beginning of the game. They're saying Roseanne Barr has a First Amendment right, but they want to shut down Colin Kaepernick's First Amendment right, and Eric Reed's First Amendment right, and the other African-American football players who are taking a knee, a silent protest, just kneeling during the national anthem. National anthem is before the game. That's the pregame show, not during the game. They're not kneeling in protest during the game. So some of the same people who say Roseanne Barr has a First Amendment right want to deny the First Amendment right of the football players who are silently taking a knee. I find that a contradiction, okay? But then the First Amendment comes in 1791 as part of the Bill of Rights, and it gives them the right to protest. That doesn't give you the right to call people names and make bigoted jokes, but they're taking a knee and they're protesting against white supremacy and racism and the oppression of African Americans and people of color because of police brutality, because of white supremacy and racism. This is what they are protesting. And they're trying to make America better. They're trying to make America better and correct what's wrong. Colin Kaepernick said himself, he said, I'm not going to stand for a flag that oppresses black people and people of color. But Colin Kaepernick also said that, he said, when there's significant change and I feel like that flag represents what it's supposed to represent, this country is representing people the way it's supposed to, I'll stand. So the same people who cry First Amendment, instead of them trying to say, how can we help, make America better and correct what the football players are protesting against, they just want to shut down those who are protesting because they don't want to deal with the oppression of African Americans and people of color, especially because of police brutality. We're not talking about all police officers. There's approximately 800,000 law enforcement officers in the country. We're talking about the possibly 2% to 4% that are committing the majority of the infractions. Okay. Now, Channing Dungey, the president of ABC Entertainment, did not consider the tweet a joking matter. She said Roseanne's Twitter statement is abhorrent, repugnant, and inconsistent with our values, and we have decided to cancel her show. She said in a statement released just hours after the comedian's offensive social media rant. Okay. Now, Roseanne Barr was also dropped by her talent agency, ICM Partners, who announced in a statement that her disgraceful and unacceptable tweet was, quote, antithetical to our core values, both as individuals and as an agency. Consequently, we have notified her that we will not represent her. Okay. Now, the news capped a day of online furor over a tweet storm that also included false conspiracy theories as well as attacks on former first daughter Chelsea Clinton, as we talked about. Okay, that are not true. Okay, the social media rant was not exactly a surprise performance by Roseanne Barr, who regularly delights supporters of President Trump, or Donald Trump, because I don't call him President Trump, with her retweets of conservative memes and stories. She has trucked in conservative conspiracy theories before, though she deleted most of her old tweets once it was announced that her show Roseanne was coming back on the air after a 21-year hiatus. Now, they could have left that little ignorant ass show off the air as far as I'm concerned. I wonder why she would go back. Now, this is very interesting. Why would you go back and delete those tweets if the show is about you, your family also, but you are a staunch Donald Trump supporter on the show? Why would you go and delete those tweets? See, I don't go back and delete any social media posts I make unless it's like grammatically incorrect or we find out something was inaccurate. But 99.9% of the time, I don't delete. No, because I was telling the truth in the first place. But even by her own standards, this latest round of tweets were particularly vitriolic. She started by spreading the false rumor that Chelsea Clinton is married to the nephew of billionaire liberal Democratic donor George Soros, who is a lightning rod for false conservative theories. That's a lie. She tweeted that on May 28th, Memorial Day, 11:54 p.m. Chelsea Soros Clinton. Okay. Chelsea Clinton responded in her usual MO when dealing with social media weirdness, a clapback cloaked in sweetness. Quote, "Good morning, Roseanne. My given middle name is Victoria. I imagine George Soros' nephews are lovely people. I'm just not married to one. I'm grateful for the important work at Open Society, which is George Soros' organization, does in the world. Have a great day." Okay, so that's like Michelle Obama. When they go low, we go high. She responded with class and dignity. We can say what we want to about Chelsea, but she responded with class and dignity. She didn't lower herself to Roseanne's level. Now, Roseanne Barr later corrected herself by adding another insult. She tweeted, "Correction. Chelsea Clinton is not married to a Soros nephew. Her husband is the son of a corrupt senator. So sorry." Roseanne tweeted. Now, fact check, Chelsea Clinton's father-in-law was convicted of financial fraud, but he was a member of the House of Representatives, not the U.S. Senate. That's her father-in-law. I mean, what exactly does that have to do? It's not saying she did something wrong. That's her father-in-law. Now, Chelsea Clinton wasn't Roseanne Barr's only target. She had more to say about George Soros, who she accused of wanting to, quote, overthrow U.S. constitutional republic. Overthrow U.S. constitutional republic. She tweeted, "Soros' goal, the overthrow of U.S. constitutional republic by backing candidates for local district attorney races who would ignore U.S. law and favor feelings instead and call everyone who was alarmed by that racist." Well, what do you say about the Heritage Foundation, who submitted a list of Supreme Court nominees to Donald Trump, and whose name was on that list? Neil Gorsuch, who was Supreme Court Justice, and this was a Supreme Court nomination stolen from what's his previous name? What's the other president's name? President Barack Obama, because the previous nominee, Garland, he was left out there in the wind for a year. Merrick Garland. He was left out there for a year. Republicans blocked his nomination, did not give him a hearing, stole a nomination for President Obama, and left it available for Donald Trump. Okay. And then at the same time, Trump is nominating very conservative, young, white male uh, conservatives to the federal bench, which is a lifetime appointment, changing the landscape of the federal bench. So she goes on to say, 9:28 a.m., May 29th, Roseanne Barr tweeted, "Sorry to have tweeted incorrect info about you," referring to Chelsea Clinton. "Please forgive me. By the way, George Soros is a Nazi who turned in his fellow Jews to be murdered in German concentration camps and stole their wealth. Were you aware of that? But we all make mistakes, right, Chelsea?" This is what she responded to Chelsea. Where is she getting this nonsense from? This is what Roseanne Barr tweeted. Okay? Now, personally, I fault ABC for giving Roseanne Barr a show in the first place because she has been dealing with conspiracy theories for some time now, even before her show came back. That's why she went back and deleted these tweets. So I don't even know why they gave her a show. Probably because they felt it can make some money in this era of Donald Trump, and she would be a Donald Trump supporter, and we're going to cash in on that. Okay? And I think Channing Dungey was involved in that decision. I think she was involved in that decision. Okay? And that was a bad move, but it's a good move that she fired her. Okay? So, and then Roseanne called on Americans to unite against a CIA mind control program for good measure. So at 1:32 a.m., May 29th, why wasn't she in the bed? Why wasn't she asleep? These late night tweets get her in trouble just like they get Trump in trouble. 1:32 a.m., Tuesday, May 29, 2018, Roseanne Barr tweeted, "As soon as Americans unite against disinfo, MK Ultra classes narrative, the better we will all be." Now, Roseanne Barr has tweeted in the past about pedogate, Pedogate, the term for conspiracy theories that accuse people, usually Trump opponents, of being part of a secret ring of pedophiles, and Pizzagate, the most famous of those theories. All this is just made up nonsense conspiracy theory. You can go to Snopes.com. You can do research on this. New York Times, Washington Post, USA Today. It's a bunch of made up nonsense. Roseanne Barr also tweeted in 2017 about Seth Rich, the Democratic National Committee staffer who was shot in Washington, echoing a conservative theory that his death was covered up by the Clintons. "Quote unquote, the fix is in," Roseanne Barr tweeted at the time. That was a hoax also. That's been debunked as well, that theory. That's been debunked also. Now, Roseanne and also, even Fox News, the Fox News network, they had to retract a story about that as well. Okay? So if we look at the article from NPR.org, dated May 24th, 2017, Fox News retracts DNC staffer conspiracy story, but Hannity keeps it alive. Sean Hannity, he kept going with it, even though it had been debunked. He kept going with it because Sean Hannity's not a journalist. Okay, he's a gaslighter. He just sits up there and just tells untruths. Okay, and just inflames people. Okay, he's not a journalist. Fox News retracts DNC staffer conspiracy story, but Hannity keeps it alive. May 24, 2017. Okay, which is why African Americans should really focus on boycotting Sean Hannity's advertisers, okay? And Fox News was sued also. We look at the article from NBCnews.com, August 1st, 2017. Seth Rich case, Fox News made fake news to protect Trump, lawsuit alleges. Okay, so check out these articles. All right, let's continue here. Okay, now Roseanne Barr, in the TV show Roseanne, in which Roseanne Barr plays the Trump-loving matriarch, of a blue-collar family has been renewed for a second season. Had been renewed for a second season, I should say. Okay. On ABC after a debut season in which it was a top show, in which it was a top show in Nielsen ratings and averaged 19 million viewers an episode. And even Donald Trump responded. He called Roseanne Barr about the first episode, and they got a huge, I think the first episode was about 18 million viewers, something like that, or maybe more. Though the ratings went through the roof, the show's producers seemed to hope they could steer clear, okay? They could steer clear. Though the ratings were through the roof, the show's producers seemed to hope they could steer clear of controversy by dialing down the show's focus on politics. Channing Dungey had said that the upcoming season, slated for fall 2018, would move, quote, away from politics and be more focused on family, end quote. And Roseanne Barr's controversy stoking social media habits have been flagged as potentially problematic for the show. In an interview with Advertising Week, Sarah Gilbert, the actress who plays Roseanne's daughter, Darlene, and is an executive producer of the show, okay, she's also openly gay as well, okay, not attacking her, I'm just stating this. She said that Roseanne Barr's friends and family had kept her away from Twitter as the show prepared to launch. Okay. Quote, her kids and her TV kids try to keep her off of social media, end quote, Sarah Gilbert said. Okay. And Sarah Gilbert is also on the TV show The Talk as well. The Talk. With the TV show with the women talk show. She's a co-host of that show as well. Now, Roseanne Barr herself did not immediately publicly respond to the cancellation, but a number of public figures, both involved and not involved in the show, did. Sarah Gilbert tweeted, Roseanne's recent comments about Valerie Jarrett and so much more are abhorrent and do not reflect the beliefs of our cast and crew or anyone associated with our show. I'm disappointed in her actions, to say the least. Okay. She went on in another tweet to say, this is incredibly sad and difficult for all of us as we've created a show that we believe in, are proud of, and that audiences love, one that is separate and apart from the opinions and words of one cast member. Okay. Wanda Sykes said, I will not be returning to Roseanne on ABC. So Wanda Sykes was a consultant on the show. And there's an article from news1.com. So news1.com, African-American news website. Article from news1.com about this. Wanda Sykes is not here for Roseanne Barr's racism. Quits TV show. The fallout from the TV star's racist rant. Let's see here. It's asking me for my email address. This is popping up. I hate these pop-ups. I'm already on the email list. Okay, the fallout from the TV star's racist Twitter rant has had immediate repercussions. So, Wanda Sykes announced that she would no longer be working as a consulting producer for the show on Twitter today. Sykes clarified her role with the show after it had been widely incorrectly reported that she was the lead writer for Roseanne. Okay. Now, her defection could lead to, okay, this was before the show was canceled, okay? They were saying that this could lead to other people on the show defecting as well, but the show has been canceled. Okay, so that's from news1.com, all right? So you have a lot of celebrities tweeting. Now, Ted Nugent, who's this idiot on the board of the NRA, big Donald Trump supporter, white supremacist. Ted Nugent says, so Roseanne referencing a movie title is racist. Lying, dishonest, soulless freaks from Planet of the Apes. No, it was her talking about Valerie Jarrett being a descendant of the Planet of the Apes, you idiot. Okay, so you can check this out. Shonda Rhimes, who created Grey's Anatomy and Scandal, and I don't watch any of her shows. But Shonda Rhimes said the terrible part is all of the talented, innocent people who worked on that show now suffer because of this, no justice. Um, that's the terrible part. I mean, that's bad, but isn't the terrible part the insult to an African American woman in the era of Donald Trump who has emboldened white supremacists? Okay. And this is a pattern for Roseanne Barr, these idiotic tweets. Okay. Isn't that the terrible part? Well, I'm not a fan of Shonda Rhimes. I'm just saying. Okay. I'm not a fan of her. I don't watch her shows. I don't wish her any harm, but, I don't watch her shows. Maybe statements like that is why. But I guess the poetic justice in this is that Roseanne Barr's show was canceled by an African American woman for Roseanne attacking an African American woman. Once again, check out this article from thegrio.com. 5 things to know about Black ABC President Channing Dungey, who canceled Roseanne after her racist rant. Okay. All right. Hey, if you like this type of information, be sure to register for the online courses that I teach dealing with history at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. It's right on the homepage of our website. We have a 10 course online bundle pack. They're all online. They're all on demand. A 10 course online bundle pack on sale for a limited time only for $60 and regularly $130. And it includes Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, Understanding the Transatlantic Slave Trade, what they didn't teach you in school. Ancient Kemet, the Moors, and the Ma'afa, Understanding the Transatlantic Slave Trade, what they didn't teach you in school. And this is a 14-hour, 7-session online course that I teach. We have a PowerPoint presentation, video clips, book references. It's all on demand. Watch from around the world. Watch on your smartphone, on your computer, on your tablet. Go to AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. AfricanHistoryNetwork.com is right on the home page. That online bundle pack also includes African American resistance in the era of Donald Trump, voter suppression, reparations, and how elections have consequences. African American resistance in the era of Donald Trump, voter suppression, reparations, and how elections have consequences. It includes great African women in history, the mothers of civilization, and some other online classes I've done as well. Okay, that's at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. If you want to donate to the African History Network, you can do it paypal.me the AHN show, stands for the African History Network show, paypal.me/the AHN show, or go to AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, click on the yellow donate button right on the homepage of the website. Okay. And also at our website, we have all of my DVD lectures. We have a 8 DVD Black Panther bundle pack right now, 8 DVD Black Panther bundle pack right now, where you get 2 of my lectures dealing with the film Black Panther, as well as 3 of my other presentations and 3 documentaries. 1804, dealing with the history of the Haitian Revolution. Elementary Genocide Part 3, which I'm in, from director Raheem Shabazz, which deals with fighting against the school-to-prison pipeline and taking control of African American children's education. And also Black Friday Part 2 from director Rick Mathis, which deals with connecting our African global legacy to practical strategies for economic empowerment. That's the 8 DVD Black Panther bundle pack. It's on sale right now, $80, regularly $130. We have about 40 of my presentations there. We have other bundle packs, things like that. AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. You can listen to my audio podcasts on my shows there also. And you can listen to it connects you to our YouTube channel as well. And you can read all the articles that are right there as well. Okay. So what's important to understand here is that Trump has really intensified this climate. He has really created a new climate where people feel comfortable with their bigoted white supremacist views, but not only feel comfortable with them, feel comfortable expressing them and acting upon them. This is very, very dangerous. If you check out the Southern Poverty Law Center's website, SPL Center, I think it's .org, splcenter.org, they keep track of hate crimes. We see a huge increase in hate crimes since Trump has become president. There has been an insensitivity that we have seen, numerous incidences of insensitivity, and insensitivity coming from the White House. Trump referred to African countries, Haiti and El Salvador, as S-hole countries in reference to immigration policies. We see a dehumanization of undocumented immigrants, and we see now Homeland Security, Department of Justice. We see them forcibly separating children from parents, and parents coming here seeking asylum, fleeing their countries from all types of horrific conditions. Okay, and what people have to understand, see, some African Americans say, well, undocumented immigrants or immigrants in general, they think that if the U.S. shuts down on immigrants, specifically they're talking about Hispanics, because they're not talking about white immigrants. Okay, a lot of African Americans don't understand white supremacy and racism, and think that if they're harsh on immigrants and they stop immigrants from coming to this country, somehow they're going to be more jobs for African Americans. Well, you don't understand the history of white supremacy and racism, because the same people who talk about banning Muslims on Monday demonize undocumented immigrants on Tuesday and call them rapists and murderers and things like this are the same people who tell African Americans to go back to Africa on Wednesday. Okay, the same people who discriminate against African Americans and call the police on them for just being black and doing nothing at all. All right, these are the same people. Okay, it's white supremacy across the board. These are the same people who discriminate against African Americans and hiring practices, things like this. Okay, so just shutting down immigration is not going to mean more jobs for African Americans. A lot of the jobs that immigrants do, most people don't want to do in the first place, one. Two, the other thing that people don't talk about, you have more open positions today. There are about 6 million available jobs today. That's more than probably about the last 20 years. Under the last year, President Obama, it was about 5.6 million. Okay, it has just gone up. It's increased. So you have a low unemployment rate, which Trump inherited from President Obama, because the unemployment rate overall was about 4.8, 4.9% when Trump took the oath of office January 20th, 2017. And it's gone down because he inherited President Obama's economy, a very healthy economy. Okay, President Obama cut the unemployment rate for African Americans in half, actually by more than half, because it peaked at about 16.7% August of 2011 and dropped down to 7.8% when President Obama in December of 2016. Okay, so these are things people don't talk about. I encourage you to read this document at whitehouse.gov. Most people never even heard of this. I could tell by their social media posts. Progress of the African American community under the Obama administration. Progress of the African American community during the Obama administration. And this breaks down how policies from President Obama had a direct positive impact on the African American community. Many of these policies, African American organizations fought for. Just because you may not have been, or somebody you don't know was not involved in fighting for these, does not mean we weren't involved in fighting for these. Key accomplishments, we talk about labor market, income, and poverty. We saw a decrease in the poverty rate under President Obama, especially in 2015, 2016. When it comes to health and acquisition of health insurance, most people don't know that in 2014, the life expectancy at birth for African American males was 72.5 years, and for African American females, 78.4. And this is the highest life expectancy rate for African Americans basically in the history of this country. And this is directly related to the fact that you have more African Americans who had health insurance because of the Affordable Health Care Act, ostensibly called Obamacare. Okay, you have big gains for African Americans when it came to education, support for HBCUs, big gains in criminal justice reform as well, which has been reversed under Trump. By December 2015, the U.S. prison population dropped to its lowest point in 20 years, dropped to 1.53 million. And there's an article from Newsweek.com that people should check out that documents this. Then I went and read the Department of Justice report from December 2016 about 2015. Read this article from Newsweek.com. December 29th, 2016, the U.S. prison population exceeded 1.5 million in 2015. The U.S. prison population exceeded 1.5 million in 2015. Okay, and they talk about how the U.S. prison population fell the most in almost 4 decades to 1.53 million inmates in 2015. Okay, resulting in the lowest rate of incarceration in a generation. Okay, this was reported by the Department of Justice. This is not InfoWars. Okay, this is not sodahead.com. This is the Department of Justice. So this evidence is there. Most people don't know it. This is what we deal with at the African History Network. Proper documentation ends all conversation. We deal with facts and evidence. Okay, My Brother's Keeper. They break down advancing equity for women and girls of color. Advances of small businesses. Under the Obama administration, we know that African American women are creating businesses at 6 times the national average. Okay, we went from 1.9 million African American owned businesses in 2007 to 2.6 million in 2012. Today is probably over 3 million. Civil Rights Division as well. African American judicial appointees. President Obama made 62 lifetime appointments of African Americans to serve on the federal bench. Okay, that's historic. That's a lifetime appointment. More cases go before the federal bench than go before the U.S. Supreme Court. All right. So this is just something. This is not even all the stuff, policies that were very positive from President Barack Obama to the African American community. And Trump has reversed over 100 policies from the Obama era in his first 16, 17 months in office. Okay, he's also made over 3,000 false and misleading statements as well. Look at the fact checking from the Washington Post. Progress of the African American community during the Obama administration. Go to whitehouse.gov and read this, because I'm listening to what people are saying. Most people have no clue what they're talking about. All right, and then this is why midterm elections, November 6 are so important. 2018 midterm elections as well. Politics is the legal distribution of scarce wealth, power, and resources, and the writing of laws, statutes, ordinances, amendments, and treaties, their adoption, interpretation, and enforcement. Read this article from Washington Post. 4.4 million 2012 Obama voters stayed home in 2016, more than a third of them black. More than a third of them black. 16.4 million African Americans registered to vote in 2016 election. Only 59% voted. Rampant voter suppression taking place. 1.1 million people wiped off the voter rolls because of the cross-checking system. Okay. Rampant voter suppression taking place. 14 new states have new voter ID laws. All right. Trump wins the 3 battleground states of Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania by 78,000 votes. Trump wins Michigan by 10,704 votes. And you had a lot of people who were victimized by voter suppression, but you had some African Americans who were just indifferent and didn't realize, one, the progress that the African American community made under President Obama, because they didn't read this document. I don't know where they're getting the information from. I think they get a lot of their information from Facebook and some of those 3,000 fake ads that the Russians took out, which reached about 130 million people. Because I saw articles popping up from news websites I had never even heard of. I monitor 35 different news websites on a daily basis, and I'm seeing all these conspiracies, all this BS popping up on Facebook, and people retweeting this and believing this. And I asked people, when did you go research this? When did you check their sources? There was a fake news website that called itself abcnews.com. abcnews.com. So when I immediately see abcnews.com, I know that's a fake website, because that's not ABC News. That's not the name of their website. Name of their domain name is abcnews.go.com. abcnews.go.com. So I go to the fake abcnews.com website, and one of the things I do, because I've been doing radio 8 years. I do radio on 9, 10 a.m. the Superstation WFDF here in Detroit. I do extensive research. So I go look at some of the articles, other articles on the website. All the articles are written by the same person. That's a fake website. That's just one clue right there. Okay. All right. So check out this article here. A lot of people didn't know about the rampant voter suppression. And people say, oh, your vote doesn't matter. Your vote doesn't matter. Well, if your vote doesn't matter, why did Republicans work so hard to suppress the African American and Hispanic vote? Why were there 868 fewer polling places during the 2016 election cycle? Why was that? Okay, if your vote didn't matter, why did the 14 new states have new voter ID laws? Why was the cross-checking system used? Why did this rampant voter suppression take place? Okay, why were there lawsuits filed by the Democrats against Republicans for violating the 1871 Ku Klux Klan Act and for voter intimidation, things like this, if your vote doesn't matter? Okay, read this article from thenation.com, thenation.com, all right? And I deal with a lot of this in the online class that I did and also the DVD presentation. African American resistance in the era of Donald Trump, voter suppression, reparations, and how elections have consequences. Okay, it's in our 10-course online bundle pack at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. These online courses are all on demand, but it's also on DVD as well at AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. There are 868 fewer places to vote in 2016 because the Supreme Court gutted the Voting Rights Act. That's the Voting Rights Act. Section 5 of the Voting Rights Act was gutted in 2013 Supreme Court case of Shelby County versus Holder. Shelby County, Alabama, sued Attorney General Eric Holder. Okay. All right. But I thought all this stuff didn't matter. I thought the Voting Rights Act didn't matter and all this stuff, and voting doesn't matter. Why did they take this case to the U.S. Supreme Court if it doesn't matter? It's not free to take a case to the U.S. Supreme Court. So what happens is Republicans fear and value the African American vote more than African Americans value their vote. That's why there's so much voter suppression to keep you from voting. And then what's interesting is Donald Trump, after he won the Electoral College because 3 million more people voted for Hillary Clinton because they didn't want this guy as president, even though Sarah Huckabee Sanders keeps saying the American people voted for Trump. No, they voted for Hillary Clinton. If you can count, 3 million more people voted for Hillary Clinton than Donald Trump. I don't know why she keeps telling this bold-faced lie. He won in the Electoral College, and there was rampant voter suppression, and we know there was Russian meddling as well. So read this article here from thenation.com. There are 868 fewer places to vote in 2016 because the Supreme Court gutted the Voting Rights Act. Okay, nearly half of counties that previously approved voting changes with the federal government have cut polling places this election. A lot of those counties have a large African American population also. I wonder what that's about. All right. Okay, so look, hey, share this broadcast on your Facebook page, on YouTube. Visit our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. Listen to the African History Network show Sundays, 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on 9:10 a.m. the Superstation, WFDF in Detroit. You can go to our website, AfricanHistoryNetwork.com. We have information on how to listen to the show around the world. Also listen to audio podcasts. Be sure to, you can order my DVD lectures as well, all different topics dealing with African history, African American history and culture, and economic empowerment. Remember at the African History Network, be sure to follow us on our Facebook fan page, The African History Network, The African History Network. Follow me on YouTube, Michael Imhotep on YouTube, Michael Imhotep, IMHOTEP on YouTube and Instagram, The AHN Show on Twitter, The AHN Show on Twitter. Hey, remember at the African History Network, we focus on educating, empowering, and inspiring people of African descent throughout the diaspora and around the world, because right knowledge corrects wrong behavior. What you do for yourself, what you do to yourself, and what you allow other people to do to you and get away with is based upon what you think about yourself. What you think about yourself is based upon what you have been taught about yourself. What you have been taught about yourself is based upon everything you've read, heard, and seen about yourself. Remember, right knowledge corrects wrong behavior. It's not over till we win. Wakanda forever. We'll talk to you next time. Peace.